Well, you saw what the power of the Fed can do yesterday with Ben Bernanke talking. He said things the markets liked. I mean, it wasn't just gold and silver going up. It was freaking everything was going up, Uh, and people argue, well, that guy's got too much power or something. But, if the Fed was gone, there'd still be problems in that type of deal because before the Fed was around, it used to be this guy called J.P. Morgan who used to influence the market, caused like the panic of 1808, 1809. And there was a lot of other things where they caused credit crunches in combination of certain railroads to take over and bust smaller railroads, and they pushed through the Commerce Act back in the 1800s, to crush competition from small railroads. It's like, it never really stops, man. There is no freaking solution to anything per se. But anyway, the Federal Reserve is actually kind of divided. They got a majority that's more dovish, like more easing. And Bernanke kind of went more dovish. He didn't say it really hard, but there was one report that came out today. It was called the initial jobless report claims that came out. That it looked bad. The initial jobless claims went up. So, I could have put a dampener on oil. I don't know if that was the reason, but that might have had a little bit of it to do with it. Maybe it's Egypt's cooling down, but that is another indication that they're probably going to have to push more for more QE. But Bernanke did make a clear signal that he's going to keep interest rates, even if unemployment goes to 6.5%. He's still going to keep them really low, and he really has to, because, like I stated, like big business. They all have large loans out. If they start raising interest rates, it's like they don't have these fixed rate loans. They got like LIBOR plus, Prime plus. They raise interest, it's going to put a major dampener on big business. So they want the interest rates low to encourage economic growth. Now, as far as where this policy is going exactly right now, I think things really aren't going to heat up till the end of the summer, because, it's like you could turn around and look back and all of a sudden we're up way over 30 on silver again, But, in retrospect, it could happen pretty quick. Now, the other thing is when Bernanke talks, it does not necessarily mean the metals go up. It actually has an opposite effect sometimes, depends on what he says. This guy's got that kind of power, man. That's why we should never really attack them. We should look at them do you see the people that are holding stocks and equities and bonds? It's like they say, Ben, they try to get them to work with them to get things to go up in their area. If you're an entrepreneur and you got major loans out there and you're on the hook for them, you want Ben to keep the interest rates real low, right? So, that's why I never really get into this garbage where you're attacking the guy. Not that it probably makes a major influence, but I think if there's so many attacks by the precious metals people on Ben Bernanke, after a while they hear that stuff. If you tell, the powers that be that silver's money and your fiat paper is not money, which is really, I agree with that statement, but if you just keep putting it right in their face, they're going to try to fight you back. And if you got there's little voices saying this, but there's a lot of little voices saying that, and then you got Ron Paul up there going, this is money, and I don't know, I'd play a whole nother strategy. Like if I was a Ron Paul, I'd be saying, Ben, you got to get the price of gold up. You got to get the price of silver up. You got to help us out. Yeah, I know that fiat money's great. I'd be wheeling and dealing a little bit with the guy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be attacking him. Crap. It's like we already shot ourselves in the foot enough times, so to hell with it. I noticed, I'm probably getting a little on the edge with YouTube here. I'm not sure because they're not liking some of the stuff I'm putting out because maybe I'm putting out some stuff that's a little, I don't know. I'm not a person that kisses ass, man. I just freaking put it out there the way I see it. Like Kokesh, I think that guy's a scam. SGT was, I don't know. I mean, I really don't give a shit. I mean, some people are just in a marketing business. They just throw stuff out there. I was never in that kind of garbage. Never could really stand sales and marketing. It was just accounting, finance. But you know, I think the game with the financial situation, though, you know, one of the deals that a lot of people hold in precious metals is because they think the whole world is going to fall apart. And that's part of the thing. But I don't think that's coming up right away in any way, shape, or form. You're going to have really, really clear signals if something like that catastrophic happens. I think the only way that you would see this big end of the, well, this big doom and gloom in the United States is going down is if there was a major conflict, and I think it might start in the Middle East in the United States, got hurt pretty bad in that. But if it turns out the other way, you know, the power of the U.S. dollar is going to be that much stronger. You know, I remember even back during Desert Storm, they were thinking, you know, they didn't know what the hell was going to happen with Saddam Hussein. He had a really good military and stuff like that. They never expected it to get, you know, go that fast. Actually, you know, Colin Powell, if they used his plan, it was like World War One, get online. You know, none of that. Like Schwarzkopf's plan was much better. He's much shrewder, and it worked out a lot better. That's one reason I always say with Kokesh, you know, direct frontal assault ain't the way to do it. I mean, just take the classic examples, even in the military. You know, the military is going up against a machine gun nest. You know, just take the classic example. You don't run right directly into the machine gun nest. You send people around the flank while you're putting suppressing fire on it, right? Then they hit it from the side, or they try to hit it from the back, or something like that. They try to outmaneuver, outflank. See, that's why I don't get into some of this crap that people are doing. Direct frontal assault is not the way to do it. And, well, I think a lot of stuff out there is basically false opposition. I'm pretty sure it is, but I already figured out that the average person, even the ones that are waking up, they don't get it, man. They ain't gonna ever get it, man. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. They gravitate towards the marketing and salespeople, the bullshit artists, to the max. Now, I'm pretty good at talking up a line too sometimes because I've been noted for that. You know, I'd had to fire back at, you know, I don't like dealing with these guys because I make them too much money. That's the problem, you know. They don't give me enough of a cut of their money, but I'm pretty good at firing back, standing on my own 2 feet and hitting the ground on all fours, running. You know what I mean, like a cat. But it's like people are like led around the nose by these marketing sales types. And that's what I see a lot of that crap's going on. It's a big emotional game. I know SGT played that game a lot. You know, Max Kaiser plays that game. Alex Jones plays that game to the max. They all play that game, man. But, you know, shit's been pretty much the same crap from like day one. The only thing I can say is stick with your Bill of Rights and everything's cool. But as far as like the metals, there's a lot of like more mainstream analysts saying that Ben Bernanke needs to do more QE. So that will help drive it up along with the price of everything else. But that's the whole reason you got the metals. It's kind of a protection against inflation. And, you know, we haven't been seeing inflation, but it's always been my contention that deflation precedes inflation. Actually, that's pretty much always the way it is. And the way it is, why that happens is the central bank tries to not overstimulate the economy. They try to, like, you know, hit the gas a little bit. And actually, when they're doing that, it's just going into the rich people. You know, it's just going into the upper banks, the upper echelon and stuff. But after a while, it's like everybody's having this tendency to hold on to cash. But then after a while, that tendency changes. It's like they got so much cash, they're like, you know, what, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to, you know, they basically, the cash starts trickling out from behind the big wall where it's been accumulating. Because you think about it, you know, when the Fed has been buying troubled assets. They got this huge balance sheet of all these troubled assets, and the bank's got all this cash. That shit's going to end eventually, believe me. That's going to unwind at one point in time. And when that cash actually gets into the economy, per se, when they start buying, they are going to actually cause a serious inflation. So, I mean, that's, some of the stuff about the doom and gloom is partly correct, because I think we're going to hit a hard inflationary period. Now, as far as like the United States going down completely, I think that would take a lot of stuff to happen over a long period of time where, they got into war. Usually a war could change something really fast, If you think back, like what happened in World War II, basically it ended the British Empire. That's what happened. It ended colonialism, right? If there's a major conflict and the United States doesn't come out on top, it can end the American Empire, where it's got all these bases every place, because I don't think we're going to be able to maintain that crap forever. It's almost like the UK was back, 100 years ago. The UK was all over the freaking world, The sun never set on the British Empire. It's just how it is with the United States. So I don't think there's probably going to be a diminishing of the United States quite a bit. But is that going to happen tomorrow? Probably not. The one thing I keep speculating on a lot is what's going to happen in the Middle East. There could be something any freaking time. And that is one reason you want to hold your metals. Because there's going to actually be, I think it's going to hit very unexpectedly, and I don't think anybody knows. I don't think the best of the best experts know what's going to happen in the Middle East. It could have freaking went up in flames a while ago, and it may. Because it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to change the whole situation. And it looks like it's the policy of the domestic oil barons in the West that they want that place to go up in flames. So that is one of your reasons you really want to keep your metals, because that will be the catastrophe that will really drive the prices up fast. And we don't know when that's going to happen. But when it happens, it's going to be too late to buy the metals in.